Well, it's just after 7 o'clock, so I will welcome everyone and say good evening and start by sharing the screen. And here we go. Okay. Our opening this evening, I wanted to speak about Memorial Day. It's that national holiday that we set aside to honor military service members who died fighting in a war, compared to Veterans Day, which honors all military. Major General John A. Logan, a Civil War veteran, founded Memorial Day in 1868. Following the Civil War, some women went to a cemetery in Mississippi and honored the soldiers of both the North and the South by putting flowers on their graves. So it was originally called Decoration Day because the graves of the fallen soldiers were decorated with flowers and flags. It was changed to Memorial Day to put the emphasis on the fallen and not on the graves. Initially, Memorial Day was observed on May 30th, but in 1971, it became a national holiday and Congress changed it to the last Monday of May to create a 3-day weekend, which some people agree with and some do not because of the possibility of neglecting the true meaning of the holiday. In an effort to remind everyone of the true meaning, the National Moment of Remembrance on Memorial Day was established by Congress in the year 2000, and Americans are asked to pause at 3 p.m. local time to remember the fallen. To this day, many Americans still do not understand the true meaning of Memorial Day. They think it is just a starting point for summer and barbecues and things like that. So it's important for us to educate everyone, our families and our youth, that we do not forget the sacrifices of our military service members. We pause to honor them, reflect, and remember the precious lives lost while fighting in war. And if okay, so our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. Okay. Moving on. Greg, council announcements, please.
Okay, my screen is up.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, well, we had a fabulous round of district and council Pinewood Derbies, and the results are in from this weekend's Pinewood Derbies. It is up on our YouTube channel. There were some technical issues with the live stream, but the video premiered last night at 6 o'clock, and a special thank you to the Appalachian Trail Pinewood Derby Committee, the General Knox Pinewood Derby Committee, and the Metacomet District Pinewood Derby Committee for running those 3 races and the Council Pinewood Derby. The Metacomet cars and trophies are with Brian Regan, and the AT and GK ones are here in the office that haven't been picked up. Some events coming up. Whoa, there are 2 more left before our summer season. We've had great attendance, over 150 people at each of the last 2. So come on out, enjoy the great weather. Events are being updated on the sites as regularly. Weeblos Woods is coming up on June 5th. Again, it's a day event only. The t-shirt extra patches orders was extended to May 8th this week, and registration for the event May 21st. And Mia Isaac is the contact for that. So you can reach out to her. If you go to the event page on our website, you can click on her name to be able to email her. And district recognitions, some of the dates are starting to come in. General Knox, the deadline for nominations or applications for training awards and such is due on May 27th. The other districts can just keep sending them in, and we'll get them ready for you as the events come together. June 7th is going to be our virtual program launch, and a reminder to our district and council committees that we're looking for dates, and as much as you have, at least a point of contact for the events by the end of this week or as soon after as possible. We understand the circumstances this year. And just a reminder that any overnight program, 1, 2, or 3 nights, that is we're not talking about a unit program, but if it involves 2 or more units not from the same charting organization, there is now some additional work to do, and you want to get in touch with me as soon as possible to start working on that. And a date and a location change for our annual council business meeting and the adult recognition dinner. It's going to be June 31st, and that will be at the Stanley Park Pavilion in Westfield. The approximate price is $30, and more information will be coming out soon. So new date, new location.
You mean June 21st, correct?
June 21st. Did I say May?
No, you said June 31st.
21st. Thank you for the correction.
Thanks.
And lots of ways to get involved. There's one more work day to help get camp ready for summer camp. And again, this says May 20th. I missed the date update, but the 3rd Thursday of June will be our next council coordinated committee meeting. And just want to clarify that if you are a district or a council chair or member of the activities and civic service committees, the advancement and recognition, outdoor programs, training, or you work on fund development, membership, right? This is where the meetings are happening and the activity is occurring. So all 3 of our professional members are there. We're all coming together and sharing, breaking out for about a half an hour to do some work, and then reporting out and sharing with each other again. So we encourage you to come join us on that night or send a representative. Online training. Appalachian Trail has the Troop Committee Challenge training on June 19th. And I guess maybe not so much a training, but on May 20, it says May 25th again. No, that's right. May 25th, the Catholic Committee will be having an information and orientation program on the Catholic Awards. And really looking forward. In November, the BSA has announced that their National Outdoor Conference is going to be an online conference this year. So anyone that would be interested, you can start looking for information soon about that. In-person training, David O'Leary is running a Leave No Trace trainer course. It's already started, but the remaining dates are on there. Byron Isaac and his climbing team will be doing climbing instructor training, and anybody that has been can get recertified for that. And that's the weekend of Woe. Reach out to Byron. Again, you can go to the Cope and Climbing committee page online and click on Byron's name, and you can email him. AT has an Eagle seminar scheduled for June 10th. It could possibly become a virtual one, but it's on the calendar for now. And the National Youth Leadership Training registration is open and is filling up. So certainly if you have some youth for that, you want to start getting them registered as soon as possible. And just to save the date for Wood Badge, a little over a year from now. Is anybody here from the Order of the Arrow to speak? All right, so some dates are up there. Their Spring Ordeal is going to be the entire weekend, Friday night through Sunday morning. Their conclave has been rescheduled to Camp Mattatuck in Connecticut, same dates, just a new location in June. And they are having their special Come Talk Summer Experience summer camp, and that's a $150 charge for a morning of service and an afternoon and evening of fun. Just a reminder about the summer service program. If you go to scouting.org/summer of service, you can find out lots of information. And I'm starting to tag Facebook posts that I see with that, reminding people of this special opportunity. Summer camp, I think we've shared a lot of this, but I want to, weeks 2 and week 3 are quite full. And so we don't have room for any new units for overnight stays, but we can take new registrations for day program. And also if a unit needs to adjust their numbers for overnight for resident camp, they should reach out to me directly and I can make those accommodations for them on week 2 and 3. Week 1 and 4, all registrations are open, and staff is looking for some additional help on lifeguards, scoutcraft, and the trails head, which is for the first year program, working on the scouts through first class requirements. And if there's any other men and women interested in helping with the provisional scoutmaster program. And Art, are you with us? Ellie, I might have to come back to Art when he.
Okay.
I will jump ahead. And Ellie asked me to.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Ellie asked me to give a brief introduction to what is called the Scout Book Sandbox. A lot of people are interested in trying it, but they're maybe don't want to do anything wrong and make any mistakes. So Scout Book has created a demo environment, and it often referred to as the sandbox. And there's an alternative way of getting to that. So there's this hyperlink here. It's going to be hard to write that down, but that gets you to a help page that talks about the demo environment. But to access the sandbox, the website is stg2.scoutbook.com. And when you get there, it's going to, instead of logging in with your credentials, you're going to use another set of credentials. I'll show you that in a minute. It works on mobile devices and a computer. And but one thing to know is everyone in the world has access to this. So if you do something today and you log in 3 hours later, somebody may have undone it. And that's just the nature of this sandbox. It's a place to experiment, but everybody has access to it. So when you go to log in, it gives you all these crazy options of what you might want to be. But if you want to see what it looks like for a crew committee chair, you can go in and see what they have access to do. Cub Master, Scout Master, Charter Org Rep. So these codes are on there, and they do list the entire thing for you. But you can go in and see how different people in your unit would have access to the tool. So when you go to the website that I just gave you, the Sandbox one, the login up at the top has this select Sandbox login, or you can log in the Scout Book normal. If you click on the select Sandbox login, all of these options pop down for you. You choose the one you want. Then you're going to click on the dashboard. Dashboard kind of expands to these 4 options here. You have to click on administration to administer it, pop that open, and then it's going to give you a unit to click on. So a troop or a pack or a ship or a crew to get you into the system. And then you can just go through and see what it looks like. Click on. You can click on various reports to try to, put in advancements, give people leadership positions. You cannot do anything wrong in that space. And that's it, Ellie.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Joshua, Council Commissioner update.
So I really don't have all that much to share today, but I would just like to continue to thank everybody for all of the work that you have been doing. Here we are now at the beginning of May, and we're heading into the summer months. Our units have had, the phenomenal work that you have been doing since September. And I thank you for all of the time and effort that you've put into, making sure that our packs and our Scouts BSA units and our crews and our ship that they have had the best possible program that we can offer. Council districts continue to put things forward. I think that the Council Pinewood Derby is a perfect example of making sure that things that did not happen last year are able to happen this year. The events that are coming up are perfect opportunities to grow scouting, so make sure that you are checking in to make sure that if there are any unanswered requests for information for your units, that you're looking into that, and just continue to move forward and have fun, because that's the biggest thing. Summer's coming, camping's coming, and we are in it for the best possible reason. I'd also like to just reiterate the Summer of Service program that Greg mentioned a few minutes ago. It's a perfect opportunity, again, to help the community, to help each other, and to get your unit's profile out in the community and allow for an opportunity to recruit some new scouts. So have fun with it. Make sure that you follow the directions that are on the website for reporting what you do, and have fun. Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you. Okay. Fritz, Youth Protection, please.
Thank you, Ellie. Here we are in spring. This is prime crossover season, so some troops may be growing as youth crossover from Cub Scouting into troops, BSA, and venture crews may be growing as older youth cross over and join you. And sometimes they bring along parents who want to continue to serve in some capacity with a scouting unit. Then they need to get registered. Part of registration is to take youth protection training. Another part is to provide your unit with 3 references to call to make sure that they are who they say they are. Someone in your unit or chartering organization should be delegated and tasked to make those 3 calls, call those 3 references, and make sure that this is somebody you want to have as a leader, a registered leader in your unit. Council does not do that. Council in this state does the Corey check. National does the background check based on social security number, and your unit or charting organization does the background check based on those 3 references that are giving. I get it. Nobody wants to do this. Back in the day, when I was a Cub Master, brand new, never done scouting before, nobody else in my unit was going to make those calls, so I had to do that. I had taken youth protection training. I knew that somebody had to make those calls, and so I made those calls. Mostly they were very routine, and I got to talk to some nice people about some nice people that were going to turn out to be very fine leaders. I did have one experience that I'd like to share. I'll go quickly. I called those 3 references. 2 of them had no clue who the applicant was. The 3rd person said they did not want to give a reference, good or bad. So I called the applicant up and explained what happened. He said, "Oh, never mind, I'll just withdraw my application." So I said, okay. And I took his application down to the council office and turned it in to the scout executive. I never saw that applicant again or his kid, but I was glad and have never been sorry that I made those 3 phone calls for that guy and made sure that the kids in my pack were safe. So please make sure that the kids in your pack, your troop, your crew, your ship are safe, and please make those 3 calls. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Fritz. Cheryl, you had wanted to mention an upcoming webinar, membership related?
Yes, on May 26th starting at 6:30, a Zoom webinar on recruiting in the schools. This is something that's, and recruitment's an ongoing process, but we've had limited access to the schools. That may continue for a while. So we're going to be talking about how we can adapt, how we can get access in the schools, and if that's not available, what else we can do. So please join us. You can register on the council website, and we'll see you on May 26th, 6:30 on Zoom. Meanwhile, please get out in your communities in this great spring weather that we're having. And when you have an activity or event, send something to your local paper so that everyone in your community knows that Scouting's active, alive, and we're ready to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. Did Art join us for
Yes, it looks like he's here now.
Okay, great. So Art, you have some information to share with us.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, very good. You know, sometimes it's hard to tell whether it's working or not. So quite a bit of information to share tonight. Starting off, wanted to make sure that folks are aware that the pancake and syrup sale is happening. Right now, the options are for folks to be able to participate in our take order portion of the sale. Those orders are due in at the end of May for delivery on Saturday, June the 5th. So please do participate in those. The form is downloadable off of the site. You also can order directly if it's just an individual order from our special website, buypancakes.com. Buypancakes.org. Buypancakes.org. So hopefully folks are doing that. If there are folks that are doing show and sells and you have any photos of those, please do send those in so we can promote the sale to everyone else with the photos that you're doing out there. You can tag them in our Facebook, all those sorts of things. This one topic, Friends of Scouting. Friends of Scouting is going on right now. We have 42 units that have committed to have a Friends of Scouting presentation, whether it's virtual or in person. We still do need units to sign up for those. Some of those 42 had signed up, but for indefinite dates because they were going to be happening at May or June activities as in-person events opened up and allowed. And we still need those details to come in. We also need folks to be presenters for those presentations. The team that has been doing the presentations has thinned out a little bit due to people's own personal concerns about the pandemic. So we do need more folks that are willing and able to give just a little bit more for scouting, perhaps to attend a unit that might be, in your geographic area. In particular, we really do need some presenters to come on board for the Berkshires area. We do have units requesting presentations out there, and we don't have folks that are local to do those presentations. So, again, there are some folks that are willing to travel anywhere. Those are gratefully accepted as well, and certainly need to call to attention John Willimane, who was one of our superstars. He did head up to Pittsfield to do a Friends of Scouting presentation, but we need more folks to be able to do presentations all over the council territory. We are doing fairly well. Folks can donate online as well to Friends of Scouting. Again, that is also on the same page where the pancakes is, our main page, and then support, and you'll see Friends of Scouting, and all those details are there. All right, next subject up, need to talk about All In for Scouting for a couple of minutes, or whatever time allows here. Again, things are coming along very well. There are, again, close to that same number of units that I mentioned in Friends of Scouting. About 40 units have had their assessments done or in progress with their council mentors. So again, some of the mentors are saying they're having a little bit of trouble hearing back from units. Others are in process, and we'll have those finished up. So again, we have a number of units that already have had their level determined, and folks are asking when their benefits will accrue. Well, the good news is that we can say that those benefits will start accruing right now. There will be, and how will all that be handled? Well, we had a meeting today with our accounting team looking at all the options and things. There is going to be a slight change to the language that was put out in the benefits, so that the benefits for all in for scouting levels are still going to be there, but the wording is going to be changed, that the especially because of where we are in the year with a number of things, the wording is going to be that the benefits are going to be a unit rebate. Because of all of the complications of software accounting principles, keeping all of the individual cost centers all square, we want to be able to make sure that all of the volunteers working on all of those programs have everything in order. So the word will be rebate. We will have out next week a rebate form, which will also be the council refund form. We've handled that in different ways in the past, and it will all be standardized on the rebate refund form. So that is how that is all going to happen, and those things can start accruing now. Again, it's very complex. I'm willing to have, I probably should have set up a separate breakout for tonight for folks that want to talk to me about this. I'm willing to, have those conversations somehow, some way, but don't want to take up too much time because I know that there are many subjects and many different things that are going on. So congratulations to those units. We do have a few that are at the Horace Moses level of achievement, many that are leading, and all of the units that are going to be receiving some benefits between now, essentially May 1st and December 31st. Again, the program, when it was put into place, certainly does need to be reviewed and renewed by the board going forward. We're hoping that that will happen, but we only will, I guess, guarantee that period. I know some folks have been concerned on summer camp, and just wanted to let you know that that's how that will happen. A couple of more things. Again, sorry, I have a long list, a lot of things I'm involved with. So folks have been asking, who is going to be our 2021 popcorn provider? There's been a hesitation. I still need 4 units to claim their online sales commission from, and now this, I will say it for the first time in public, from our former popcorn vendor, Trails End. So I really do need those 4 units to collect their, so we can totally close out the account with Trails End. And I am happy to announce that our popcorn vendor for 2021 is Campmaster Popcorn. Campmaster Popcorn. I think I had 2 more points. One is if anybody is available, it's more of a pop-up activity, but sometimes folks want to do those sorts of things. On Thursday morning, I will be out at the campfire ring at Moses down at the lake for the National Day of Prayer at 8 in the morning, Scout Zone. Again, I may be there by myself. That's okay. I'll record from the lake. If other folks want to join me, again, it will be just a short Scout Zone prayer service for the National Day of Prayer. Last thing is Scout Shop. I have Scout Shop open hours, and we will have a special event for Memorial Day. Now, we won't be open on Memorial Day, but we will be open the Saturday of Memorial Day. It's the only day in Saturday in May that worked out calendar-wise for us to open. Our last Saturday open will be June 19. And then we're going to have some scaled back hours during the summer. We're only going to be open 2 days a week during the summer. So I know I took up a lot of time there. Sorry about that, but it was a lot of, I think, important information. So we'll turn it back to Ellie. And again, I can be available for questions, but I don't want to bog down the stream.
Art, thank you so much. It's vital information, and it's important that we take the time to share with everybody from around the council. So I really do appreciate you taking the time as well that we need it. People sometimes do hang out afterwards, after we have Roundtable closing. If they want to stay and ask questions of you or whatever, are you willing to do that?
I can. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that if people want to do that, they can. All right. I'm going to move into safety moments, and I'm going to pray that my screen will share again. Let me go to this. Okay, here we go. Safety moments, we're covering a lot this month. We're talking about burns, dehydration, poisonous plants, and ticks. So when we think about burns, we think about things with a campfire and cooking, but then we also have to think about sunburn. And what I've done is on each of these added the link to the PDF form and the information piece that you can download. Dehydration is something that we also have to think about. It's easy to just go out there and think about having fun on a hot summer day, but not think about how a hike or the heat or any of that can affect us. We always talk about staying hydrated, especially with COVID. One of the things they're finding is that if you're taking a sip every 15 minutes or so, it will, it makes you a little more resistant because the virus doesn't get a chance to hang around and get stuck there or whatever. Poisonous plants. We often talk about poison ivy and being aware of things like poison ivy, poison sumac, poison oak. But often you're paying attention to something else as you're walking along a trail, and it's not until you get home that you've got the rash and the itch or whatever. So there are some pointers there for that. And then our friendly little, very friendly, very little critter called a tick, who can do an awful lot of damage. And sometimes diagnosis is not so easy because you don't always get that bullseye type ring, but effects of it can be lifelong. So please make sure as you get ready for your spring and summer activities, you think about those 4 items in particular. Okay. Oh, come on. There it is. All right. Right. So from here, we're ready to head to our breakouts. Greg, could we have 25 minutes for breakouts tonight?
So do we have any questions before we start? Whatever Art announced for the Olin Scouting, I had nothing to provide for answers. That was brand new to me as well, because I just did all my assessments for Olin for Scouting. So what Art just mentioned, I don't have a clue what's going on or what has.
I was going to ask you.
Nope, unfortunately I did all my assessments, finished them about a week ago, and I have not heard. What Art mentioned tonight was brand new, so I don't have answers for that. So the other thing is to Aaron. Last month, did you mention about den chief training? So we're not. I know I've been told for summer camp is that we're not offering den chief training in person. like we've had in the past. Den chief training is available online now, so the scouts can take it. And if you need me to come out to your unit to do like maybe a Q&A with your den chiefs, I'd be more happy to do that as well. Because I've been doing the trainings with Donna for the last few years anyhow, and I've used den chiefs a lot in my previous pack as well. So I'd be happy to come out and do a Q&A if you want, if you need me to.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
Rob, is it only online?
Right now it is.
It is only online. Okay.
Yeah, we're I don't know. I know Donna Perkins is no longer she stepped down as General Knox's advancement chair. She's trying to focus on the ATV program for this summer, from what I've been told. And she usually has run those for the training staff in the past. I'm hoping maybe once we get out of COVID, the COVID guidelines, which according to the latest news I heard, by August 1st, all the mandates will be lifted.
Wonderful.
Does
that include us too?
Nothing else happens.
Is that include us?
We follow the state guidelines, so wherever the state guidelines allows us to do, Greg and the council will basically update us as needed to let us know that, hey, listen, certain events are now going to be on back to normal. So we'll see what happens for that.
Okay.
So what we're going to talk about tonight is your summertime pack award. Now, for those of you, how many of you has actually started doing your JTE for this year for the pack? Or started
what? I didn't hear you, Rob.
Your JTE, your journey.
Oh, JTE. Yeah.
How many of you guys have started using that? So
I write it by hand.
So there is a nice handy spreadsheet out there that you can actually fill out.
It doesn't work.
I lost you, Peter. What was that?
I can't get it to work.
Okay. I know there was a fill-in spreadsheet, and Mr. Peter Matros reached out to National, and there's not been an updated workbook for this year, but there is still the spreadsheet online that tells you the requirements of the bronze, silver, and gold level. And I bring that up is because it's one of the areas of the JTE is your program, and part of that is your outdoor activities, and that can be supplemented by the activities that you run for your summertime pack award. So for the summertime pack award, it's basically easiest terms I can think of, an incentive for a pack and its den leaders to run a summertime program to ensure that we have a year-round program within scouting. Because I know when I grew up in scouting, once summertime hit, everything was pretty much off to summer camp. We'll see everyone in the fall. But with the summertime pack award and the JTE, they're trying to encourage year-round activity. So that also helps ensure that you're not going to lose interest in the scouting program from your unit over the course of the summer, especially if they don't are not attending summer camp, either the day program or the overnight program, or if there's family vacations out there that may interfere with them going through the additional opportunities that we offer at the district and council levels. Has anyone done the summertime pack award in the past?
Sure, we've generally gotten it every year.
Okay, cool.
In West Springfield.
What have you guys done in the past to make up for your summertime pack award? What have you guys done, for example, work?
You mean what activities did we do?
Yeah, exactly.
We at PAC 1849, we did hikes. We did, we met every other week. So we had 2 meetings a month to give the opportunity. So for that month, if you couldn't make it to one, you had a second chance. We also did tie-dyeing of t-shirts.
Oh yes, I remember that one.
Yep. We did we tried to keep the summertime fun. Not that scouting isn't fun. That's not what I mean. We did science, some science experiments and things outside in the pavilion at the Moose. So those were a lot of fun. We learned a lot of what not to do.
We also went to Lupa Zoo. Wally Lupa is a scouter also, so he's always looking to help us out.
Yeah, I know.
Does
Give us
he
some
give
private tours
discounts?
too.
And I know in the past, especially with the chicken units you guys have done, the Rocket Day, so that would also count as like a pack activity for the summer, because not only did it serve as a recruitment opportunity, but it gave the chance for scouts to build paper rockets and launch them. Those
Oh,
are
that's right. It takes place in June, right?
I know I missed that last year. That was fun.
2 years ago, we did the big truck day in Chicopee at the Knights of Columbus. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was what, 2 years ago that we did that?
2 years
29.
ago, yeah, we brought the Pinewood Derby track.
2 years.
Yeah, exactly. How many of you guys have actually bought the pins?
Uh-oh.
Pack 1849 has.
Okay. I was kind of curious tonight because I'm looking at it to see if it was updated at all. So for each of the participating scouts, you can get a tiger pin, a wolf pin, a bear pin, and a weebles pin. And I was just kind of curious why there isn't a lion pin. And from what I've read online, there's like really no official answer. But what I gathered is that because usually at that point, they're assuming that they don't have lions. Lions will have crossed over. And that's why, unless you manage to recruit a lion at the very last minute before the summertime happens, that's usually why you don't see a lion pin, because they're assuming the lions have crossed over to become tigers.
Well, they should.
Wondered that.
They should consider having a lion pin, because we have a lot of siblings that joined and they were actually at our bridging ceremony and they walked over from being like a kid into lions. And it would have been cool to offer them a pin too, because they were at all the events as well. So
yeah, and that's why I found odd, because I was thinking maybe because the Lions was a newer program at the time, but I've gone on the Scout blogs recently and there's been no real updates to it except for what I just said.
Usually scouts can join the next rank at the beginning of June. So that's how your Lions can enroll then. And so that would be something that you could look at.
So how many units, now that we're talking about the summertime pack award, how many units have activities lined up for the summer, or you have a general idea what you're going to be doing for each month?
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Waiting for the state to
We're
open up.
working on. Well, now that things are opening up, it's giving
that's
us.
the general consensus. Basically, as the news comes from the state, what we're allowed to do, and then council kind of takes that information and makes sure that we can abide by it. That's usually, it's basically we're playing it by ear.
Right. Well, I think last August, I believe, we did our golf, our miniature golf, and it worked out well because it was just one family at a time. So our activities have always been just one family. We're planning on I know we're planning on a fishing trip, probably up to where was it? Hamden Ponds for one of our events, probably the golfing again. And then there's your general hike wherever, probably a mountain or something.
Yeah, so Fran, I think with Pack 570, you're going to have a Gilbo in that pack for the next 20 years.
We're going to do what?
You're going to have a Gilbo in that pack for the next 20 years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have a new member, but he's too young for any rank yet.
I know, but it seems like 4 sons.
In 5 years.
That family's guaranteed for a long time to come to sustain that unit.
Yes. Yeah, Alan knows. That's why I was asking about the Den Chiefs, because now his 2 older boys are scouts, and of course I want them for Den Chiefs.
Yeah, so I would like to do, I'm hoping in the fall to do it. I will talk to Mary Benjamin about this. We can probably do an in-person training in the fall. In the meantime, you can do the online training through the same resource that we do as adult leaders. And if any of you want me to come to your unit and talk about, have a Q&A or FAQs with the Den Chiefs, I'd be more than happy to.
Okay, that's great. I think we've recruited 2 scouts already. We had a tag sale this past weekend.
Oh, great.
So we have some money. And a couple of youngsters showed up, and so the family started asking questions. So guess what? They're going to be coming to our next couple events.
Good. Joe and Peter, how'd your recruitment day go?
Exhausting.
Besides that, Pete, scouting is exhausting in general.
No, it was good. It was good.
Oh, good.
Marketing was a letdown, and we have recruited 2 girls for 5303.
Oh, good.
We might have a couple of cubbies as well, but
Cheryl's very happy. Cheryl's clapping in the background, and Peter's smiling.
yeah, we might have a couple of cubbies. We're not sure yet, but
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Right.
it had some interest.
You did a great job. That was a really good event in Springfield. You got
Thank you.
all of the units available to do some participation. There were representatives there. You had coverage on the news. Those of us who attended were impressed. And I think those kinds of events are really important when you can do them. I know it was a lot of work. You did a good job with I got to talk to you a little bit too about the geofencing and how you publicized the event. So that's very, very good. And if people have questions on how to do that, perhaps you could contact Joe and Peter for more information. But it was a fun event. It was getting Scouts visible in the community, and it was done very, very well. So I thank you for that. And for everyone, Fran, having a tag sale,
Yep.
again, getting Scouts out and using that as an opportunity to let people know you're available.
They, my kids were all participating. It was wonderful. It really was good. We probably will try to have another one in the fall because our funds are very much depleted. So we need to build boys and girls and more money. So.
Perfect. I know that 164 had a bottle drive this weekend.
They did.
So, get something out on that so people know that you're out there working. You had a great piece in the Palmer Journal about your time at Howe, which was wonderful. So anybody who's getting you're out in the community, you're doing something, get it into the paper.
Yeah. Our pack was out for the Earth Day event too, and so we had pictures in our town paper of us being out there. So that works.
Get them on social media. Send a copy to Gary and Art at the office. Let's get those up on the bulletin. Get them up on the bulletin board.
Okay.
Really?
All right.
It sounds like a little thing, but it's really, really important.
Yeah.
Well, Fran, if you have a link to a website for that, me and Matt Tassinari have the ability to update the Facebook page for General Knox, and we can put that out there as well.
Great idea. Thank you.
How do we get that link? You have to explain this to me in detail.
We'll talk about it offline, Fran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fran, send that to Rob.
Yeah.
Ask Rob. Right.
Send information to Rob. He'll take care of it for you.
Okay.
Trying to think if there's anything else new and exciting going on in the world of scouting. Has everyone done their blue and golds and crossovers at this point?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Good.
We got it's May already. God, time flies.
We had a blue and gold and a crossover in the pouring rain.
Good year for time to fly. I'm waiting for the warmer weather. It's May, but it's still raining out.
Well, we did ours in the pouring cold rain a couple of weekends ago.
Well,
out behind the Irish Center in the pavilion there. Good.
Well, I woke up the Friday morning of my blue training weekend, and I looked out the window. I'm like, yeah, snow on the ground. This is a good sign. Yep. But it was actually a really good weekend. Rebecca was up there with me and staff.
Wasn't that cold, Rob?
Was it?
I said it wasn't that cold.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was like Friday was like you would think it would snow on the ground, but when we get out there is more wind than anything else.
Yeah, the wind on Saturday was brutal.
Yeah, other than that, it was a really good weekend.
For sure.
We have Rebecca and Brad and Doug from AT. Anything that you could talk about that you've been doing out that way for recruitment or for your blue and golds, any of those things?
We haven't, and we had our blue and gold back in February. We did it online.
Right.
I know Pack 8, we're having our crossover in 2 weeks.
Perfect.
Which we're crossing all of our aerial lights and our the rest of the den over as well.
Absolutely. And of course, you've got day camp coming up, so
Yeah, we have summer camp coming up.
good time to plug that, Rebecca.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
since we're talking about summer camp, make sure that you get your children's pediatricians on the phone to get those ABC forms filled out, because I'm pretty sure doctors are gonna be booking up very soon for physicals. I've had my physical scheduled since January, and it's not until June, so it's gonna be filling up fast. And Greg will keep everyone updated, because I know as of right now you're supposed to have a COVID test 48 hours prior to going to camp. I don't know if that's going to change in the next month or so, but just keep an eye out for that stuff.
It's true.
Hey,
Now,
Rob,
I had some
Rob,
parents asking for part C. Does the doctor actually have to sign
Yeah, the doctors
the
have to
health
fill out
form, or
C.
can he just attach a form?
No, he has to fill out C.
Okay.
So what I usually end up doing as an adult is I'll have everything filled out, and go for my physical, I drop it off, and they'll just let me know the doctor's filled it out, because it requires a doctor's signature.
Okay.
You can't just fill out another form. It's got to be our forms.
I had one family that the doctor didn't want to fill it out. He said that the paper that he gave was fine for them.
No, they have to fill out our forms, everyone. I appreciate the doctor's a doctor, but all organizations have their own forms.
Okay.
hey, Rob,
I will send you that.
Hey, Rob.
yeah, it's me. So, got a question for you. Oh, it's loud.
Okay, Peter, is that you?
On the
Oh, never mind.
the form for the COVID portion where they mentioned having to get COVID tested 48 hours before,
Correct.
what if you have both shots?
It doesn't make a difference.
Do they need to, do we as adults need to show our vaccine passport or card, whatever we get?
You still need to be tested.
No, I get that, but are we gonna have to show that we have documentation that we were?
I believe on the document itself, it'll ask you at the very bottom is I believe if you had any vaccines recently, you can fill out you have the COVID vaccine.
Okay.
But if you want, you can always just take a photocopy of the card we all got and just attach it along with your health card.
The one that you're not supposed to laminate like you did?
Hey, Staples offered a free laminating service. I'm not going to complain.
Rob, for the COVID testing, do they want to send out a PCR or is a rapid okay?
We don't know those details yet. That's the thing. Greg is the last time we had a council meetings for all the staff members, he was still trying to figure out the logistics of all that as well. So he's immersed in a whole nother set of what we can do and what we cannot do for COVID testing.
Okay, because if you do the PCR, it could take longer than 48 hours.
Exactly, and that's why he's trying to get details and work with our side of the house to figure out what is reasonable and what can be expected that we can ask him to do. Because me going to summer camp to Sharon staff, it'll be the very first time I'll actually have taken a COVID test since this pandemic started. So those are the questions that Greg is trying to sort out on a weekly basis, because we don't have a solid answer yet. And again, like for example, like just to put this in perspective as how things are constantly changing, individual cities have their own different set of criteria over what the state may have. So for example, if you looked at the Governor Baker's reopening plan, Boston and Somerville, because of their own concerns within their city limits, their mayors are tacking on 3 weeks to the governor's opening plan for their own area. So for example, they won't be fully reopened till the 3rd week of August versus whereas the rest of the state's August 1st. So that's the thing that we have to deal with, is not only do we have to interpret what the state wants, but we also have to interpret what the local municipalities want as well, and their own health departments. And that's what makes this thing that much more difficult this year to do. So as of right now, I can't tell you what we're going to be expecting for mass guidance up at the reservation. There's no clear-cut plan right now. They know what they would like to do. They have plans in place, but nothing is set in stone just because things are changing on a weekly basis since the vaccination rollout began.
Hi, this is Fletcher. I can share what I had a conversation with. I'm sending my son to Camp Howe. If any of you are familiar with that, it's on the other side of the DAR State Forest. It's like a week-long summer camp. And the requirements they told me is that 72 hours or less prior to arrival on a Sunday, you have to have a documented negative PCR. And then once you get there, they're also going to do their own rapid on-site test as well. So that's the requirement I was told by them. I'm sure that VSA will do something similar.
And I think that's the Massachusetts summer camp rules right now too.
Okay. But again, if you have questions about that, Greg Williams is the person to inquire about, because he's pretty much becoming the subject matter expert in that realm because of all the additional steps that we have to take to providing a safe and healthy program for the scouts and leaders involved. So the other thing is too, even we were even taking extra steps of training. I know I started the Leave No Trace trainer class last night with actually Brad and Doug are in it as well, and 2 of our sessions are online, so we don't have to do the extra paperwork to do an overnight session for Saturday as well. So there's all these things that are being taken into account just because of all the regulations and just how they're changing, as I said, on a weekly basis. So does anyone else want to bring anything up? We have about 2 minutes left to the Cub Scout Roundtable. Anything you guys want to talk about that's going to be going on for this summer, or anything you've heard interesting in the news that I've not heard or anyone else has not heard yet? Sounds like we're going to be back in school full session in the fall. Yay. High schools are supposed to be back in session by the end of May, but a lot of people are saying, why are we sending the kids back to school for only for like 2 or 3 weeks? We'll see how that works out.
Palmer's back 5 days a week.
Oh, they are? Okay.
With the option to be remote if you want, but.
And Chickabee's going back on the 17th, and the seniors their last day is the 28th.
Exactly.
I thought there was a lot of summer programs going on to kind of make up for all this time out of school.
Well, those that need it, there's a lot of kids that are failing. There's a lot of kids that are doing exceptionally well compared to usual.
Yeah.
Springfield is going back on the 17th, but for the high schoolers, we were told that the kids go to their classroom, and instead of a normal high school where they go from class to class to class, the teachers will come to the kids.
That's what our middle school is doing. Our high school, they're actually moving around, but the middle school, they stay in their one room.
Yeah, they get their breakfast, their lunch served at their double desk. They get a few minutes for fresh air break. They have to bring a refillable water bottle, and they'll refill that for them. And we're going to be bringing Andrew, so we have to drop him off no later than 7:15, and we can pick him up as early as 2:20 to avoid the buses.
And stuff. So to talk about preventing leader burnout, we probably should touch on just some basic stuff about it, some of the terminologies. People talk about being burned out, smoked, fried, toasted, zoned out. But the big question is, what is burnout? And basically, burnout is it's a reaction that is it's consistent, draining, saps your energy. It can be emotional or physical or both, and it's usually it's a long-term exhaustion. It's psychologically. And with that said, some of the key causes of that is, and there's a whole slew of them here, but I think the big ones that that I see or I've dealt with over the years have been, wearing too many hats, right? We talk about that all the time. I mean, we all are, yes, we're leaders of our troops or our crews. And then on top of that, well, with all the work that comes with that, then some of us volunteer at council, and then we're, some of us are at the district level, and some of us get drawn into our local packs because that's part of responsibilities and what that, may entail. And on top of all that, district has other things for us that they need help with that, we have a hard time, some of us that say no. And before you know it, right, you're burnt out. And don't know what to do. And what usually happens with burnout, at least I've noticed, is that you're not doing everything at 100% anymore. It's more of, one of the side effects is that it just kind of gets done at the last minute and so forth. And we'll get into that in a few minutes. But some of the other things to look out for and what could cause it is unclear or demanding expectations. Your committee chair or, is demanding more from you, or, those lovely parents that we deal with. We feel the lack of control over one's work. A good one's lack of recognition or rewards for good work. A lot of times as scout masters or, crew advisors, and we're basically greasing the cogs, right? What keeps it moving. And I know for us, unless you have a pretty good committee that's on top of things, chances are you won't get a pat on the back once in a while. And yeah, and what's interesting is when you feel like that, because I find myself like I'm always, trying to recognize, leaders I work with, parents that go that extra mile, like committee members and stuff. But sometimes I feel like, geez, I just, not quite sure, if I'm doing a good job or not. And in all the stuff that I read on council about this, and there is a document from National about leader burnout, they never mentioned this. And what's interesting is when you want a little reassurance, ask your scouts. Ask them why they're in the troop. Ask them, do you think you're doing a good job? You'd be surprised on, sometimes that could just get you back on track and, just put you in a little check that, yeah, I'm doing, yep, I'm doing a good job. Or maybe they'll tell you something that you didn't realize. Maybe you are showing signs of leader burnout, and they'll say something like, hey, Mr. Adams, where have you been lately? So don't be afraid to talk to your scouts about that stuff. Another thing of burnout is doing work that's, monotonous or unchanging. Do the same thing over and over again. Again, that ties into Zoom. We're sitting in front of our computers like we are now, doing it all day. I mean, today I know myself, I've been on this thing all day. So yeah, it gets old. Some other things, lack of close supportive relationships or adequate resources. Working in a chaotic or high pressure environment, lack of personal time or relaxing. A lot of times we get busy. We get so wrapped up in, our job and our, families and relationships and scouts and stuff. We forget to take time for ourselves, whatever that may be. I'll share that one of the ways that, and I've always worked from home for the past 7 years, so the COVID doesn't affect me too much working from my house. But what I did learn when I started working from home is I was missing a socialization with colleagues and stuff. So we started having breakfast on Friday mornings at a local restaurant in town at 7 a.m. Myself and scout leaders that are available or what have you would get together once a week for breakfast, and it made a huge difference. That, I guess you can call it me time, right? So that all helps in the long run. Being expected to do too many things. Like I said, you're wearing multiple hats, and and when people know that you're the go-to person, what do? They'll give you another hat. So before you know it, you're a walking hat rack. So just keep that in mind. Now, again, leader burnout affects all of us a little differently. And, some of those, the traits that can contribute to burnout, and then I found these 4 listed, and it's not like we fit just one, so in other words, yeah, if I was, I am a perfectionist to a degree, and that could contribute to burnout, because I'm wearing so many hats and I want everything done perfectly, and and you're redoing it all the time, and it just adds more work to your load, and before you know it, you're stressing out and so forth, and you're not getting the work done like you want to get it done, which is a vicious circle, right? Need to be in control. It's hard. Over the years myself, when I started with Troop 7, the troop was totally dysfunctional. I've worked hard, and over the years got the troop to where it is today. And then, it's time for a succession plan and trying to find that right person. And it's hard to let go because you don't want it to revert back, right? So, and you don't want to make the same mistakes that previous, leaders may have made in your program, or, so forth. So, but you have to learn to give it up a little bit and give them some space to grow, right? Leaders, and just like scouts, they all need to make mistakes so they can, learn from them and move on. And of course, you have your high achieving type A personality. Okay. So real quick, what's some signs of burnout, right? They can be subtle at first. A lot of this, I'm just talking about leader burnout as a group of us, if it's, us, but keep in mind, your assistant scoutmasters can be burnt out. Your youth leadership can start to show signs of burnout. So, keep your eye, you'll see certain things that you may question that's out of character that you may want to pay a little attention to. Okay. The sooner you sense something needs to be addressed, the sooner you do it, the better. And it helps, keep the program moving along, and hopefully keeps all of you in the program. And then, just like I said, paying attention to the early signs and so forth. So what are those signs? Oops, sorry. Physical signs, if you're feeling tired, drained most of the time, lowered immunity, feeling sick a lot, frequent headaches, back pains, muscle aches, change in appetite or sleeping habits. I think we all can relate to this, one of these or multiple of these. I mean, you've had times in your life when, stress and family life, and you lose your job, and now it's financial problems, and it just piles up. Next thing you know, you're tired, don't feel like doing anything, and just piles on, right? Those are physical signs of burnout. Emotional signs. How about decreased satisfaction or sense of accomplishment? Again, you may feel yourself that, you're just, why am I doing this, right? Loss of motivation. I really don't feel like going to the PLC meeting tomorrow night. Didn't want to do it last night. Maybe you're starting to get cynical or a negative outlook on stuff, and so and that's, people may pick up on that if when you start talking negatively about the program or the troop, or things within the troop that you're doing. Those are signs that hopefully, that if you don't recognize, maybe one of your leaders will, that says, hey, we need to take a couple hats off of Mr. Adams, because clearly there's something going on here. Overreacting to frustrations, like a conflict. Again, outbursts. Some little thing may set you right off, which normally it would be like, hey, it's no big deal, right? Feeling powerless and ineffective. Again, sometimes, you can't make the changes you want to make, and you feel like you have no power to do it, but in reality, nothing's really changed there. It's just that you're overworked and overwhelmed with everything. A detachment, feeling alone, sense of failure, or self-doubt. Again, I feel like I'm just not doing a good job. And I think that one, I would say usually when I start to feel overwhelmed myself, it ends up being that I start questioning why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, am I making a difference? Am I doing a good job? You know, is it even worth my time? I got a lot of other things to do. You know, no one comes over and rakes my leaves. So why am I doing it? Behavioral signs, again, procrastinating is a great one. It takes longer to get things done. You know, it's harder to get going in the morning. It's harder to sit down and get the things done you need for the troop meeting or the PLC meeting, or, you know, you're, oh, great, I got to meet with the crew one more time. They haven't done anything in the last 3 weeks. It's like a broken record. You know, why am I even doing it type stuff? You know, drag your feet. Loss of focus, skipping meetings. Again, that's, you know, as leaders, we're there all the time. And the scouts, they'll pick up on it when you're not there a couple times, and, you know, they'll show up at a PLC and you haven't done this. Someone will wonder what's going on. And hopefully you'll recognize too after tonight and say, geez, you know, we haven't done that. I haven't been at that meeting the last couple months. Again, taking frustrations out on others, that's just out of character. Something's not right if you're acting differently. And withdrawing from responsibilities are behavioral signs. So how do you prevent leader burnout? You know, slow down, take time off. You know, sometimes you need to take a step back. As we get back in person, it's going to get crazy. I noticed myself over the last few months with COVID, you know, our troop never missed a meeting ever in 10-something years. I've been involved in Troop 7. Nothing, I mean, we don't miss meetings. It's just what it is, right? COVID comes along and we were gung-ho in the beginning, but within probably 6 months of COVID, next thing you know, we had to started taking breaks or missing meetings. Some of it was me, you know, I don't want to do it anymore, you know? And when I recognize that, then it's like, again, take a step back and it's okay. You know, I think the big one is, you know, I mean, getting support is a great way for that is to talk to somebody, talk to a friend. You know, it could be a leader and so forth. I know during COVID, the hard part is that, you know, we weren't meeting face to face. So again, pick the phone up and you have to talk to somebody, and that helps, you know, just, you know, share with, you know, how you're feeling, and, you know, you'd be amazed once you get it off your chest a little bit, you may be able to, you know, get some good advice and get moving. Roundtable, great support. You know, I know as we're going to hopefully soon be meeting in person and the new schedule gets launched, you'll see we're working that into our program on a monthly basis. So, and that's what Roundtable, at least I believe, it's a support network for all of us. So by all means, share. Acknowledge losses, either role identity from position. Again, sense of community. Reevaluate goals and objectives. That's important. Again, you know, why am I doing this? What's my goal here? That helps keep you on track. Talk to the scouts. Get their sense, you know, how you're doing. In the Scoutmasters Conference, I ask them all the time, you know, what can I do better? You know, what is it do you like about, you know, the Scoutmaster and the other leaders? You know, what would you like to see more of from us? You know, what would you like to see less of us? You know, but it helps, and you know, it helps, I think, us, at least me, to try and keep my goals in check, and you know, and get that sense of, you know, the enjoyment that I'm probably been missing, like especially over this last year. You know, it's just been tough. So, and make changes. You know, if you take a break or find a new role within, you know, with some new challenges, maybe there's something that, you know, you can change one hat in that you wear for something else. Last couple of years, I got more involved with the pack to help them a little bit, and it seemed to be kind of like what I was missing, you know, and, you know, working with the pack and, you know, with a new scout, with a new cub master, and, you know, just, you know, working with someone that was, you know, wanted to grow the pack and eager, and, you know, helping them with all, you know, BSA policies and things that have to happen in our, you know, in the pack and fundraising, all that stuff. It was even though it was more work, it ended up being a breath of fresh air for me. Mixed it up a little bit, and that helps. and it also put in perspective a bit of why I do what I do and why I enjoy it. And it definitely improved, you know, over the last few months, especially in COVID, with the troop and the crew for me. The important part is at the end, when you're all done, is to reward yourself, right? One of the things that I missed truly in COVID was, as a leader, I know we're here for the scouts and what we do and why we do it. But the other part that I think all of us can agree, it's the friendships that we develop with the adult leaders and some parents, but you know, the leaders as you know, a whole. And when we're not breaking bread with them on our campouts and hikes and stuff, I miss that, you know. And a great way to prevent leader burnout is to spend time with your leaders. I know our troop this year, after COVID, we've been talking about this, and we're working on a leader campout. We're going to call it a non-scout campout, but it'll be a time for us to be, you know, friends, break bread together, you know, without the youth around. So, but again, I mean, these are the rewards, right? I mean, these are things that you can look forward to and that will help. You know, when you do your yearly planning with your troop and your crews, you know, it's important to have that balance in your schedules. And when I say balance, I mean, I tell all my scouts, you know, scouting doesn't come first. Your education, your exams and that stuff, that comes first, you know, and then scouts are second. And then I tell my leaders, you know, and, you know, family to me is what's first. Okay. Then scouts is second. And no one better tell me their job is first or second, because that's just the means. Let's be honest. Right. So we all want to, you know, but family's first. And that helps too in leader burnout. It's carving some time out. So make sure when you do your planning with your youth and stuff, and I let them plan stuff, I know as Scoutmaster, I'm pretty much going on all the trips. So if I have a, you know, family, you know, engagement, like, you know, I have graduation I have to go to next weekend for my daughter, you know, so there's nothing happening while I'm gone, you know, there's no troop activity as far as camping or stuff that weekend. So, so keep that in mind, right? I mean, you have to make sure you got that me time and, you know, keeping your schedule balanced so you're not burned out, because they really need you, and, you know, the program needs you, and the district needs you, and council needs you, and, you know, and national needs us. So, you know, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, I try to keep it short and sweet. I mean, we could talk about it for hours. There is a, and I didn't share the link. There is a TED Talks, a guy by the name of Simon, I think it's Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, or maybe it's S-I-M-E-K. You go to YouTube, you can look him up. And he does this presentation on why we do what we do. And it was interesting when I watched some of it before. Our church played it, and it's a lot geared towards like business and stuff. But if you check it out, I can try and send a link before we log off. It's about, I think it was 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes long, but you can take quite a bit from it. It was pretty fascinating. I know Matt would love it because he talks about Apple a lot, and so it'll probably click with him, and why Apple does what they do and how successful they've been at it. But I'll send you the link and we'll check it, and you guys can, you know, check that out if I get a second here. Oh, someone already found it. Good. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of them, Matt. I watched some of that, which is pretty good. The other one is it's why. What's it? I can't think of the name of it.
I think it's selling. It's basically like selling because not because of the features of something, but because of the outcome of what you're going to get out of it. Yeah.
And it does kind of address a little bit about leader burnout and how you look at things and how you do it. And it was pretty informative. I mean, it's a good motivational piece. It gets you thinking. And so, because we know why we do, I think we know why we do. But what we do. But yeah, it's worth, he's got a couple of TED Talks. I actually saw one today from him about actually how he got to the why, like that whole process, how it motivated him and how, you know, what happened in his life that clicked. And again, talk about burnout. He had it. So, you know, yeah. So anyways, any questions?
I will say, George, you do a good job of sort of recognizing some of that in people. I think I've heard you, you know, check in with scouts that seem like they're kind of pulling away a little bit, or even leaders. If you make an effort to kind of reach out, so that's something we can all do. If we start to see some of those burnout symptoms in people, you know, why not send an email, give a quick phone call, invite somebody out to a coffee. It takes a few minutes, but it's probably going to help us all in the long run if we kind of help each other, because that's what you said. That's what we're all in it together to help each other.
Right. And again, I mean, I joke around all the time. I mean, at one level of stress, we got so much going on our plates, and I love parents, don't get me wrong. But I know when you're sitting on the couch watching what's going on, it's easy to make suggestions and what you think you could be doing differently and stuff. And I'm like, here's the link, go take the training, come back and see me. You know, I don't know how else to do it. You know, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, because the job is yours, and I'll even triple the pay if you take it. So, you know, but yeah, you're right. We're all in it together, and that's what I always believe that's what Roundtable is about. You know, just another resource for us to, you know, if you need to, you know, talk a little bit and you need some guidance or help about, you know, any topic, you know, be it you're having problem with committee members or scouts or whatever, that's what we're here for. You know, don't think you're in it alone. So.
And George, thanks for bringing that up too. What a lot of people don't know is that behind the scenes, we've been planning and thinking about the format for next year. And George mentioned, you know, some getting together in person as well. We're actually looking at doing a hybrid type format so that we can do maybe some skills informational kinds of things at one roundtable. And then the next month's roundtable actually be meeting in person outdoors and putting into practice some of those kinds of skills. So I did put in chat, please, if you've got topics you'd like to see us address next year. We really want to make sure that we're meeting all of the needs of everybody who's coming to roundtables. So.
Right. I think I'm hopeful that, you know, at least all of us here moving, like the roundtable commissioners have worked really hard. I feel how we're moving forward in our upcoming year, and some will be the same, some's going to be different, and some of it's going to be the same and different put together. How's that? Okay. So I think we're thinking outside the box. So hopefully all our leaders, all of you guys will, you know, and I think it'll grow roundtable. I think we have the right format. We're stepping out of the box, I think, a little bit out of what National wants us to do. And at the same time, we're embracing what has been working.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the breakouts. And I hope the Cub Scout piece was as informational as the Scouts BSA crew and ship breakout was. Rob, you have our closing, correct? I'm not hearing anyone.
Sorry, I had some mouse problems.
Okay.
Let me just, is there anything else you want to cover, Ellie, before we end?
I do want to just touch base with the roundtable team so we can set up a meeting. But I also know that Art is going to be available for anybody who has questions. So if we can just very quickly, after you do closing, the roundtable crew pick a date, and then everybody else can stay on.
Okay. So I'm just going to do something simple. The old Irish blessing.
I just thought of one more thing, Rob. I'm sorry.
That's why I ask.
Okay. And the thing that I did forget is that in June, we will not be holding a June roundtable per se, because The roundtable evening is the same night as program launch, and I expect to see everyone at program launch. And so we will see you for our next roundtable in July. Okay. All right, so we'll see you all at program launch. Thank you, Rob. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. So this is the old Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The ray fall soft upon your friends. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
Thank you, everyone. I will bug out of here so that anybody who wants to chat with Art has the opportunity to do that. And thank you for all of your help, everyone. It's really great to work with such a wonderful team.
Art,
Part of
what
it's too,
is
because
this
we're
all in
talking
for
about-
scouting thing? I know, I'm supposed to
So-
know about it.
Fran, again, that page that I kept referring to all evening, on the website support, then there's a sub page for All In for Scouting. What All In for Scouting is
It's under support on our website?
Yep.
Okay.
What it's about is a plan to try and help units reemerge from, the terrible year that we've all had. So we've put out a series of incentives, essentially, to be able to help units financially who are units that are healthy and participate. And at the same time, it's an incentive for them to move to the next level and get more benefits.
So we can get financial benefits, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yep.
All right,
Again,
I'll be looking.
in the form of it now the new word is in the form of rebates for camping, district activities at the very highest level, training programs, all of those things that resources volunteers have to commit to. And again, there's a number of things very similar to what is measured under Journey to Excellence. But with the addition, it also does look at the unit's past performance in revenue for scouting. So, did they sell popcorn? Did they do Friends of Scouting? Are they doing pancakes? It does take that into consideration as well.
Okay.
Again, it's all there on that link. Greg just dropped it in the chat. There should be a board member or highly placed, trusted council volunteer that is the mentor assigned to the unit to contact them and see where they fall in terms of all those criteria, and to be able to have those benefits start accruing.
All right, thank you, Art. I'll be checking that out and emailing you with a question.
Yep, nope, that's fine. And I
So
did put my
Art-
email in the chat.
So Art, when you're talking about rebates, are those rebates sent out to the unit once they choose to elect an option, or is this like a year-end type thing?
Yep, no, it is, again, our current understanding of how that'll happen is at using, for example, summer camp, because that's a big one. So because there are so many interlocking factors that happen, how many camper ships does someone get? How many, do they have a loyalty discount? Do they have a sibling discount? All those things, how many youth are actually going to get to Moses? And sometimes all of that changes, even though people may have the best plans. So that, again, there's going to be this rebate form that we would turn around the rebate in 30 days to the unit. So it's not at the end of the year. It's not any of that stuff. If chooses to have a deposit go into their unit account, it might go faster than the 30 days. But if you have a check coming back, it would be 30 days. Because it does take all that time to spin that around through all the places that has to go.
So basically, they'll be paying, let's say, for example, we'll talk about cabin rentals. They'll pay for the full cabin, and then within 30 days, they'll get either refunded back to their account, or refunded back to the unit the difference that they're allotted because of their all-in for scouting benefit?
Right. And again, a lot of this is because of the way the software works.
Yeah.
And we're trying to see if we can find a way to make it simpler. But at the moment, we need to change to the rebate model. And also, you also understand as a district and council volunteer, we also want to make sure that all of our individual programs are shown to be paying for themselves and supporting themselves, so that, you know, in the future, when folks look at it and say, well, you know, this Moses is not paying for itself, it's losing money. Well, no, we're giving away money from a unit incentive program, so it still will show in the Moses account as coming in.
Yeah,
You know,
so you
that
just
kind of thing.
basically have to make all the numbers work.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
benefit
it's accounting.
units.
You know, it's back office stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And this will be automated, Art, because I know when we had talked about this earlier, that if a scout, if a leader wishes to use one of their benefits, they just have to mention all in for scouting when they do the booking. But then within 30 days, will the office automatically reach out to them?
The form for these rebates and refunds is going to be you know, attached to everything. So everybody should have access to that. Again, it just was devised today. You know, it's in a draft. We just have to, you know, clean it up and make sure it has all the, you know, right accounting numbers and tracking and all that stuff on it. So that'll be in effect. You know, I want to say sooner, but by the end of next week.
No, understood.
Thanks for staying on longer, Art. That's helpful.
Not a problem. All right, have a good night, everyone.